Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rukal Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who are teaching the truth and sincerity. And a shout out to Yakim that's out there in four corners of the earth proclaiming this truth. Brakat the Yahweh, Brakat the Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rukal Kadash, Brakat Thumb. So, here you'll see that another, like Kmart and Sears, is filed for bankruptcy as of February 7, 2014, which we, or 2018, or 2019, schlock. And I didn't even realize this because we got so many other things that are going on, you know, with the, you know, the whore trying to attack, you know, pretty much the tribe of Asher, you know, in both Colombia and in Venezuela, about to, you know, they've already pulled off a coup in Venezuela, and now they're thinking that they're going to use Colombia to come in there. But the state of Colombia has stated that pretty much that if they even try to come in there, we'll shoot at the U.S. troops. So many of these nations are taking a proverb against Esau. Even in Haiti, they're now calling upon Putin to help. So we got all these other things that are going on, but this is another article on the grinding ceasing from Babylon the Great. And this is Shopko, which is another store that's like Kmart and Target. We already know what's happening with Kmart, Sears. You know, they're slowly but phasing out. Target will probably be the last one on the list. But nonetheless, though, anything that pretty much competes with Walmart, we can see that those stores are slowly on their way out. The only things that are going to be really left afterwards, I think Best Buy will probably hang on. I mean, you know, we know that eventually all these things are going to go, but I mean, definitely Best Buy will hold on a little bit longer than Target, so, you know, you'll have that. But it's because, you know, all these practice drills and those things are just FEMA planning, so, you know, with these store closures, they can use these places as centers to round up. If you hadn't seen my video of me going out there and teaching. Again, you know, that's not normally where I set up camp, but I set up camp Sunday, you know, to show that, hey, man, here's another place, just like I started out last year, you know, about Kmart and Sears going out. Well, now Shopko is going out of business, and Reading's the only location of it. But I'm going to read this article. This is from USA Today. Shopko will close almost 70% of its locations between now and mid-May as it attempts to reorganize and emerge from bankruptcy. The company published a list this week that indicates they will close 251 stores, more than twice the number of stores Shopko identified for closing in mid-January. The company currently operates about 360 stores in more than 24 states. The list of closures would cut that to fewer than 110 stores. Shopko originally announced plans to close 39 stores in December before expanding that list to more than 100 stores in January when it filed for bankruptcy protection from creditors. This week's expanded list added another 139 locations, Shopko spokeswoman Michelle Hansen said. And Hansen said that the volume of stores forced the company to issue a worker adjustment and retaining notification act notice in Wisconsin and Illinois. She said the added closures were difficult but necessary. Yeah, you know, so pretty much, though, what's happened is grinding is ceasing here in Babylon the Great. And, you know, it's a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The stores will be closed in phases between March 2nd and May 12th. So, you know, pretty much this was one of the things in Reading, and I've seen that, you know, but we have so many other things going on, but this is something to take a look at. So I'll play a little video here.
Another Wisconsin-based retailer struggling to stay open. This time, it's Shopko.
The company announced it filed for bankruptcy and will close more than 100 stores nationwide.
Corrine Zell talked to shoppers in Grafton about the news.
This is one of 3 Shopko stores closing in southeast Wisconsin, and once these stores officially close, shoppers tell me they don't have many other options. The parking lot is busy at the Shopko in Grafton, one of 16 locations set to close after the company filed for bankruptcy. Signs are posted making shoppers aware.
I was surprised. It's well liked. The store is well liked, and people seem to come here a lot and enjoy the deals when they had them.
Customers say they do most of their shopping here.
Everything. Right now I'm going to do some house things.
Sari Lesk with the Milwaukee Business Journal says Shopko reports having similar concerns as other retailers.
That their physical footprint of brick and mortar stores has posed a problem in terms of how much real estate they're dealing with.
Bankruptcy documents show problems with Shopko's pharmacy business.
They've said that it's been a struggle for them to operate that business.
Lesk doesn't think Shopko is alone.
Well, I do certainly think that you're going to see more closures among brick and mortar stores. As far as bankruptcy goes, only time will tell.
The big question for retailers?
Can stores that have emphasized brick and mortar as their main channel, can they compete with those online retailers?
For these customers, online shopping is not ideal.
When Shopko closes, where will you go?
It's a good question.
We don't know now, right?
As many Shopko stores close, the company says they plan to open several freestanding optical locations. Reporting in Grafton, Corinne Zell, today's TMJ4.
So, pretty much that's going to lead people to where they can only shop at Walmart or Target or Best Buy as long as those places last. But you know that eventually it'd just be Walmart and Walmart shuts down key locations as well to turn them into FEMA camps since they have the direct deal with Homeland. But you can best believe, though, that this is going to continue to escalate as it did last year. Toys R Us went out completely. Shopko on its way out. And on another note, when it comes to furniture, I bought shelves from Walmart, and they pretty much suck. They fell apart. But the ones I bought from Shopko are much better. So they had better quality stuff, so that's just it, though. Pretty much, this place is falling like a Jenga puzzle. Now on to other things going on. As I had mentioned at the very beginning of the video, Donald J. Trump thinks he's going to attack, well, technically, the U.S. whore thinks it's going to attack Venezuela. Well, Maduro wants troops at Colombian border, and pretty much they are taking a proverb against Edom. This being the tribe of Asher.
The newest reports are showing that a U.S. military transport plane that was carrying humanitarian aid that was meant for Venezuela had landed in Colombia, and they unloaded all this food and medicine, but it's uncertain where it's going to go, how it's going to be distributed. And the last time that they sent something down there,
it's going to go to the terrorists.
And sat it down. And it sat there for some time, and we really haven't seen any updates on some of the stuff that was taken up to that bridge and sat there. And if you missed it, the Bank of England decided to hold on to all of the gold that Maduro was trying to repatriate back to his country. And in dealing with gold, Citi is saying that they may liquidate over $1 billion in Venezuelan gold within weeks, with a source at the central bank telling Reuters last month that it would provide 1.4 million troy ounces of gold in exchange for cash to Venezuela. Venezuela would have to pay interest on the funds, but the bank would most likely be able to maintain the gold as part of its foreign currency reserves. And we also have them drawing up plans here to send troops to the border into Colombia. This is an area where, I've said many times, you can expect there's going to be a lot of troops coming through this area. When John Bolton walked out and telegraphed it on his piece of paper saying 5,000 troops to Colombia, and the mainstream media picked it up and ran with it, I mean, it was obvious what they were doing. It was like the next day or so, there was footage being shared on Twitter of vehicles arriving on the beaches in Colombia. U.S. Marines walking up the beaches with their gear. It was a short time after that, Jack came out and said, guess what? We're cutting off all information coming out of Venezuela. Well, how nice. Just keep everybody and all you in the dark on what's really happening there. Can't wait till another option in terms of platforms opens up for us out here. But this is the latest here in terms of Venezuela. I'm going to leave links below. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. And if you guys want to join us in the flesh, a bunch of like-minded individuals, March 30th, for the first ever Knowledge Conference in the Cincinnati area, hit me up, dabu7yahoo.com. Less than 15 tickets left. They're going fast. Hope to see some of you guys there.
And when he says other platform, he means something besides YouTube, because we know that the devil, Esau, is cracking down on YouTube videos. So nonetheless, though, they are doing everything they can to bring down the legitimate government of Venezuela, just like they've been doing in Syria.
During a visit to Washington, Colombian President Iván Duque said China's role in Latin America would be stronger if Beijing abandoned support for Venezuelan leader Nicolás Maduro and recognized opposition leader Juan Guaidó as the country's interim president. But China's response was not affirmative.
And we look at all options.
China always appreciates the efforts made by the Venezuelan government to maintain the independence and sovereignty of the country. We call on all parties to support the government and the people of Venezuela in the search for a political solution through peace talks according to the Constitution. Meanwhile, we urge other countries to respect the principles of the UN Charter, that is, and not interfere in the internal affairs of other countries.
China and Russia are two of the 16 countries that expressed support for Maduro in the face of pressure from a US-led coalition of 50 countries, which have denounced Maduro's legitimacy as the president of Venezuela. US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has gone as far as to describe Venezuela's democratically elected president as part of, quote, an illegitimate mafia state. Washington using its political and financial power to force Maduro to step down. The US Treasury on Friday announced sanctions on 5 senior Venezuelan intelligence and security officials close to Maduro.
The speech from the President of Colombia that they recognize this man as president is the beginning of international anarchy.
We cannot accept it because we have a president. We have a president and he is Nicolás Maduro.
The people of Colombia have always been our brothers throughout history. President Duque is one thing and the people of Colombia is another.
Relations between Bogotá and Caracas appear to be heading to a historic low. Duque's remarks also expected to intensify tensions between the two nations, who once fought side by side to gain independence from European colonial rule. Venezuela is in the center of a battle between the right and the left in Latin America, and a geopolitical struggle with Russia and China on one side, and the
you
US
can tell
and
that's
European
Levi
Union on the
right
other.
there.
Sadly, the chaos is taking its toll on the people of Venezuela. Ahmed Cabello, Press TV, Caracas.
So you know what this devil's trying to do. And of course, like everything else, kingdom against kingdom, you know, and uprisings of the people. Well, here's one more article before I get into part 2 of this.
According to Reuters, California Attorney General Xavier Becerra said on Sunday the state will definitely and imminently challenge President Donald Trump's declaration of a national emergency to obtain funds for a U.S.-Mexico border wall. Becerra's comments came on ABC's This Week program when asked whether and when California would sue the Trump administration in federal court. Other states controlled by Democrats are expected to join the effort. Becerra said, "We are prepared. We knew something like this might happen. And with our sister state partners, we are ready to go."
So you can see, though, that this will not be tolerated. So I'm going to get ready for part 2 of this, but I'll leave on a scripture. 2nd Ezra, chapter 3. He answered me then and said, Measure thou time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before. And that's what we're doing now. That's why we're constantly putting up videos on things that are going on. Then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he had made, and we're seeing that everywhere. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, you're seeing that now, then thou shalt understand that the Most High spoke of these things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. And so, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end. We're seeing the end of Esau's rulership. For that I want to say, Baruch Yahweh, Baruch Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadesh, Baruch Atam. And I have more coming.